السلام عليكم ورحمة الله، يا أهلا وسهلا بأفخم وأغلى مستمعين في العالم ومتابعين برنامج دردشة بزنس على قناة أرب جي تي بودكاست من العاصمة السعودية الرياض. اليوم موجود في مكتب شركة سيير، أول شركة سيارات وطنية تابعة لصندوق الاستثمارات السعودي. شركة سيير تم الإعلان عن رسميا بال2022. ما سمعنا كتير أخبار، ما عرفنا إيش بيشتغلوا الجماعة. احضر المقابلة هاي، احضر الفيديو هذا، راح تعرف كل المعلومات. وبالذات عشاق السيارات، هاي الشركة الوطنية السعودية راح تفتح باب أمامكم، ممكن في المستقبل تكونوا جزء من هذه المنظومة الكبيرة. وللحديث عن شركة سير ومستقبل شركة سير والتصاميم تاع شركة سير، مين أفضل من رئيس قسم التصميم في شركة سير السيد ميلفيل من الرياض من مكتب سير. Thank you very much for having us today here in Riyadh at Seer's office.
Yeah, hey, thank you very much. Yeah, hopefully we can cover some good ground.
I hope so. Rob, I'll start with you first. For most of the listeners or the viewers, we want to give them a glimpse. What is Seer? Some people heard about Seer before. There is others who never heard of the Saudi car, Seer. So can you give them a glimpse of information around the brand, the company itself?
Absolutely. I mean, here at Seer, we're building cars and we're here to ignite an industry, inspire a nation, and to amaze the world. We're doing electric cars to begin with, but the future, obviously, wait and see what happens. But the ambition is huge, and hopefully over the course of this conversation, we'll give you some insight into what we're doing in design as well.
I would love to hear more from you about design. When we talk about design, Rob, you're the guy.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of inspiration behind Seer? What kind of design language that you guys are looking? I know this is amazing project for you on a personal level, because from ground up you can create everything from the scratch, from white sheets all the way to have a final product. So what kind of inspiration we're talking about here?
I think really to tell the story of the inspiration, I need to sort of wind the clock back and go right back to the beginning. So I think one of the things that really appealed to me and all of us here at Seer was this is a true ground-up project. The brand needed to be defined, the type of product lineup, the technology roadmap, obviously the design language, bringing all that together. So the cars are designed, engineered and manufactured here in Saudi. Now, from a design point of view, the journey started with what does the brand stand for, and therefore how should the design be the physical manifestation of that. And we had this unique opportunity to bring those two worlds together, develop them hand in hand, in parallel, right from the start. So the journey really started with a lot of deep research into the region, the culture, the people, the trends. And in one of the first board meetings, in fact, we were set a challenge to create a unique fingerprint. Don't do something the world has seen before. We really need to create something ultra fresh. So if the world is going left, what does right look like?
Nice. That's interesting.
Absolutely. And sorry, go on.
And with such a new brand, you will be able to achieve that.
Exactly.
Other traditional brands, they will never be able to
exactly.
take this kind of approach.
We had this kind of clean sheet. We weren't held back by the typical legacies of the previous generation to this generation. So we really had to make sure we maximized these opportunities and understood, in fact, and identify what the opportunities were. And the research allowed us to do that. So we engaged with people around the world, understand the global trends, and then we found these opportunities, which we believe we've now pulled together and captured in what are the final vehicle designs.
When you've mentioned the final vehicle design, the car has been already designed, and I believe it's ready to be revealed.
The cars are designed. They are ready to be revealed. The actual reveal day, though, is TBC. We'll just wait until everything's in place, and then we'll announce that when we're happy everything is perfect.
Can you tell me more about the building we're in today? I've just realized that there is more than 1,700 employees working for the brand Seer already. So can you give me a hint of ideas, like 1,700 people works for this brand? How's things going? Where is this building that we're in here today in Riyadh?
Well, the momentum is huge. I mean, obviously from when was it now? June 22 when I joined, I think I was around the 90th or 100th employee. And the project had already really been going since 2018, putting all the foundations in place. So from the moment I arrived, certainly, what I witnessed, what I saw with my own eyes was this rapid growth, ultra laser focus. We've moved office. This is now, I think, the third office that I've been in. As you say, 1,700 people. I was the 100th employee. So rapid expansion. We've attracted the world's top talent across all the different divisions and functions. It really is like an A-list, I would say, cast. So we're all very lucky to be working together.
From different car manufacturers.
All different car manufacturers. Yeah, we've got people here from Ferrari, Koenigsegg, McLaren, of course, and myself. Rolls-Royce,
back
Bentley.
to the history of it.
Yeah.
We're going to discuss his history in a bit, but please go on.
Yeah, so I think amazing talent, incredible focus, huge ambition, expanding rapidly. I would say expanding appropriately to handle the scope of work and the scope that the challenge is, and to be able to deliver it on time.
And with all the efforts that has been taking place, I've noticed that recently there was during the Saudi National Day, there was a rebranding. The logo has been changed. Maybe the corporate identity has been changed as well. This is like step one towards building a proper identity for Seyir.
Absolutely, we felt the placeholder brand, if you like, or the logo that we had in place. It was there to allow us to get things going, kickstart. And I think with this redesign of the logo, the word mark, and also the whole brand look and feel, it really marks this clear change in our development. More modern, fresh, relevant. Obviously, it's a bilingual word mark, so it works both in Arabic and in English. Yeah, really catering for the market and the target audience, obviously. And of course, the look and feel of it as well. It's edgy. It's based on this Tesseract system, which also relates back to Saudi and the Gulf region.
If we go into more design language, we highlighted the inspiration a little bit. If we have a deep dive, motivational, cultural, something more related to the roots of Saudi Arabia itself. You've mentioned that you and your team did an amazing research for the past few years to make sure that you tackle all the aspects. Can we take the audience with us into this journey to let them because today we're not showing them the car, at least let's give them a glimpse, like how this building a car brand or building a car model related culturally from design to Saudi.
Sure. Okay. I think to do that, as I say, let's use the anchor point of that research. And as we define the brand, we spoke about this inspired by the kingdom, which is really about setting a vision, designed for the region, and then created for the people. They were our three key phrases. And in the middle of that, we have an archetype hero. Now, why do we think of ourselves as a hero? We don't mean like the chest beating hero, like a Superman type cartoon, but a hero who's by your side. They're a companion, they're aspirational, and also they're visionary in what they do. And we believe these cars will be a hero to the people. I think they're going to inspire everyone. They're going to be wowed. They're going to be amazed. I mean, they are truly unlike anything you've ever seen.
Nothing.
They are incredible. Yeah.
When everyone's thinking right, you guys went left.
Yeah, we went in the opposite direction. And of course, you need to be careful when you go in the opposite direction. Is it for the right reason? So we have a series of design pillars, and those pillars are there to guide us and make sure we do go in the right direction when we do decide or try to be different. So it's different for a reason. Number one is unique. Of course, we had the challenge to create a unique fingerprint with these products and this brand. And of course, the number one pillar is unique. We need to create something that's fresh, relevant, and not just another car. Number two is purpose-led. We need stories around this car, features, concepts that bring a benefit to the customer, that excite the customer, engage the customer, or make life easier with the product and the brand. Then number three, we've got paradox. This is about the surface language. So paradox is essentially this contrast in styles. We were very much inspired by the Naqshbandi architecture of Saudi, and especially when you look back at the ancient architecture in Hegra, this beautifully crafted, like perfectly sliced piece of architecture out of the sandstone rock that then blends into the landscape, into the dunes. So this brutally sharp yet elegantly fluid form language that we use relates back to the architecture of the region. And the core, say, foundations of the form language based on triangular structures also relates back to features and, say, you see in Naqshbandi architecture as well. Number four is a new space. This is really about how the things that we design into the car how do they engage with the customer? So from an interior point of view, very driver-focused environment, and without giving too much away, it's going to create a very different driving sensation when you're inside this vehicle, unlike anything you would typically see or get. So always think about how do we engage with people, how do we excite the customer, give this unique experience, and as I say, bring a comfortable environment. So this user experience. Number 5 is brave. This is a pillar that's probably followed me, I think, throughout my career. I think it's important that the design team feels the freedom to be brave, the opportunity to, let's say, fail, take risks, take chances, to find those unique opportunities. Because otherwise, we can't deliver the first 4 pillars.
With EV design, there is a lot of challenges and there is a lot of competition. How do you differentiate Seyir in comparison to the rest of EV brands who's already available in the market?
So I think from a corporate level, number one, we're different because obviously we are designed, engineered, and manufactured here. So that from a, say, corporate business level, we're different in that sense. From a design level, taking influence from, say, the local landscape, the architecture. I mentioned Hegra. We did a lot of research around the Farazan Islands, different beaches, the corals over in Jeddah, flowers.
From Taif.
Yeah, we really dived into the region and the culture. The Sadu red weaves. So we've taken a lot of inspiration on any form, in fact, any front, I should say. So from the form language, the colours, the graphics, the combination of the form language and the volumes and the graphics, finding this new intersection of things, which really, because there's been no cars designed in Saudi before, and there's been no cars really designed on this OEM level in the region before, we had this huge pot of inspiration to call on. So that research has really paved the way. And as I say, the architecture has been a big informer regards the surface language of the cars.
You've just mentioned something related to having everything under one roof. Seyir, with all the coming models, every single model will be produced, designed, supplied in Saudi.
That's right. So designed here, engineered here, and they'll be manufactured here. Obviously, one of the big missions of the project is to create the supplier park over in Cake. And we do that clearly we need to make, number one, highly desirable products to make sure we hit the volumes, which then attract, in theory,
the buyers.
Bring the suppliers and the buyers and build the industry. And the other mission is to create opportunity for people here in the region and Saudi. Another part of the project as well is actually how we bring young talent through. That was one of the huge things that appealed to me.
How does Seyir planning to bring young talents?
So working closely with universities, lots of different initiatives. So we have contacts with universities here in the region, and we're able to, by engaging with the universities early on all the different fronts, from design through engineering through manufacturing, human resources, IT. There's many different functions that we can lean into these universities and build these strong relationships, identify the talent, and then working hand in hand, give them the opportunities to join the team.
This is very interesting, especially like most of the colleges or the majors here in the universities, automotive is not one of the pillars.
No.
Even designing the automotive. So would Seyir work with the university to have like a special curriculum where it's creating more or bringing a program where people can be prepared before joining Seyir as well?
So this is a really interesting topic. In fact, we were talking about this just internally, probably only 2 or 3 weeks ago again, saying that whilst there are design universities in Saudi, I think the real opportunity is how we, as we engage more and more closely with them, how we create a curriculum specific to, maybe not only vehicle design, but it could be industrial design and product design that then focuses in on automotive design. And I think to really lean on our experience of the team that's moved here from abroad, and inject that experience and that insight into the local colleges and universities. I think that's something we have a huge appetite for. and is work in progress.
Where is the project is now standing? Like, are we talking about the building has started? Are we talking about we're in which phase?
So I'll quote my colleague from this morning. We were looking at the status on the facility this morning, and our chief manufacturing officer said every time he goes, "Wow, look at the progress," and his next sentence is, "Wow, we've still got a lot to do to hit the timing." So it's moving along really well. It's progressing incredibly quickly, but we need to keep that pace to make sure we deliver on time.
When is the expectation to launch the car?
So regards that, I think we've not fully defined the timing yet. We are waiting until we're happy with every detail, and then I think we should be, or I hope we'll be making an announcement within the next sort of half year regards the exact date when it goes to launch.
So in 2026?
Well, we'll be making an announcement around when the date will be. But yeah, I can't say beyond that just right now.
So people will see the car next year. They will have an idea about the Seyir future products.
The ambition is to share the car next year, but regards the actual date, we're just waiting. Yeah, nothing yet. We're just waiting until the timing. As I say, all the pieces of the jigsaw are matured to the right level, and we're like, this is the right time.
With all the competition is taking place in the EV scenery, I believe you're already familiar with the amount of companies who's building EV vehicles nowadays. How do you view the competition with a startup company, a national company like Seyir?
Well, I think the competition, I mean, we've paid a lot of attention, obviously, to competition. You need to understand your market. You need to understand who your competitors are. And I think we've got a lot of respect for our competition. Many of them have been doing it for decades, and they're doing amazing products. So the challenge and the bar is high. And I think by taking the approach we've taken, coming out with these, let's say, halo vehicles to begin with, it's allowed us to be very unique in what we do. Also allowed us to create a very strong, clear identity for design. I think also working hand in hand with the engineering teams. And I would say their incredible appetite for pushing the boundaries as well. We've been able to really find amazing proportions on an electric vehicle, which is probably one of the biggest challenges, because typically the electric battery raises everything up and the cars get bigger and heavier and generally look bulkier. So I think working hand in hand, we've been able to really find fantastic proportions. There's concepts in the car which really talk to the region as well, that they bring clear benefits for people who live life here in Saudi.
With building, you've mentioned the ecosystem, and this has been running also in the presentation earlier. Ecosystem in building cars or having an amount of suppliers. So even the suppliers will have their factories or plant in Saudi to supply Seyir with everything they need. That's the plan.
Yeah. So the plan is, as the company, to meet the business model and say the business case, business plan. Part of that over in King Abdullah Economic City was to create a supplier park, and of course to do that, the suppliers are coming over. That shows they're investing in the region.
Definitely for Seyir, you guys announced several partnership, whether with the plant in Saudi or even as a suppliers to move here and start producing more parts to supply the cars coming out from Seyir. If we want to highlight this kind of partnership and supplier chain and vendors, with whom you guys have been signed this kind of vendor supply form with?
Well, we've been very busy in that area. The partners we've got are the best from around the globe. So we've got Rimac, Sibel, Lear, Shin-Young, Bentley, Autoliv, JVIZ. We're really working with the top tier regards the suppliers in these partnerships. And that's enabled us to push the boundaries and bring, I would say, some very challenging concepts to life in a way where we're being true to the original design vision. And we've really been able to, I would say, make some magic happen.
Going back to your biography, Rob, I believe you have an amazing biography from watches to cars to several design. If we want to give the audience an idea around what your favorite design cars that they've been running on the roads until today, what's your favorite one?
Oh, my favorite one out of all the cars I've done was probably a McLaren 720S.
More than the P1?
Yeah, more than the P1. I mean, it's a tough choice, but I think for me, the 720S embodied a clear DNA. I think there was a level of sophistication in there and refinement, which some may disagree with, but I think we didn't have on P1. And it just brought everything together: the performance, the segment of the market it sat in. It was really a culmination of a lot of learning from P1, 570. 650, and then as we did 720, it really did bring all the elements together in this perfect package. And not my words, but the media's words, where it rewrote the rule book in that segment. And 720S. So that was an absolute highlight. But to be honest, my whole time at McLaren, I was there for nearly 13 years. The first car was P1. I was very fortunate to work on, and then I over time became chief designer, design director, and I worked on basically all the cars inside and out, all the way through to even W1 that just came out. So I take great pride in that whole era. Then back at GM, I was at General Motors for 3 years, worked in advanced design. So I was doing mid-engine Corvettes, Hummer projects.
That was way earlier than the C8.
This is earlier. Yeah, absolutely.
Way ahead of the C8.
Way earlier. Yeah, way earlier. And it was so diverse. We did, like I say, the mid-engine Corvettes. There were the Hummer projects, land speed record cars. And then prior to that, I was at Jaguar Land Rover, worked on the Evoque and the Range Rovers. So that incredible journey. And you mentioned even watches. So I did some projects with Richard Mille, the clothing ranges with Belstaff, luggage with Toomey. So it's been incredibly diverse and I would say, very fortunate and privileged.
In comparison to all these models and the history of Rob and things, the cool projects that you've designed and you worked on, how do you put it together with Seier?
Seier is
the
number
new
one.
challenge.
Seier, absolutely. And not just because I'm sat here. It was the ultimate challenge. It's turned out to be the ultimate project.
Is it ultimate challenge for a designer to give him a white sheet? And
100%. I think, when I stepped off the plane back in June 22, and essentially had to build the team, get the software, get licenses, everything ground up as a division. And we went from, 1 through to now we've got about 60 permanent members of staff plus.
In the design?
In design, including contractors, we're around 110, 130, depending on where we're at in the project. So it's grown rapidly over the last 3.5 years. But then comes that challenge you mentioned, the blank sheet. Is it harder than having something already to work from? Well, yes and no, because in one hand, it's like you've got carte blanche, but also there is a brief and there's many different opinions. So you need to listen, learn, consider, understand the region, understand the culture. And then, of course, which direction do you go in? So I think it is harder because there's no history as such to lean on in terms of the automotive sense. So that area was trickier. But of course, when you then start to come and put the package together, i.e. the DNA, the expression, the character of the volumes and the highlights, in a way, you're not constrained. So you could argue that we've got more freedom and easier. So yeah, but it definitely the ultimate challenge as a project because the brand had to be defined, the surface language, the form, everything ground up. And of course, all the manufacturing, suppliers, etc. So it was the dream.
It's a new experience in comparison to other previous experiences. But it's really interesting to see such a thing. Like you don't get the chance to have this white sheet more often, especially in the automotive industry. It's a well established, and OEMs and the manufacturer has been doing it for years and years. So they have a sort of a DNA. So to have the chance to start working on a clean sheet from the beginning and start drawing and planning the DNA of Seier, it's really impressive. What was the toughest thing that you had to handle in this process?
I think just to touch on a point though you were making, I think just to say that blank sheet, I think the appetite of the company and the board to allow us to push the boundary, that was incredible for me. Because typically a business is quite cautious. It was measured and it was intelligent in its decision making, obviously, but the trust and the freedom to allow the creative division and the engineering division to really push the boundaries was wow. it was next level. Now, regards the actual biggest challenge, well, there's been many. I didn't have this many grey hairs when I stepped off the plane 3.5 years ago. So I think, of course, building the infrastructure, building the team was one, all that side of it. But, hey, that's just life. I think regards the project, it was the time to react. So defining the brand, learning about the region, and as I say, bringing those things together, trying to find not even a niche, but find a space which we could make our own, and with a good solid story behind it. And I think as people see the vehicles, that's where a lot of thinking went into it. And it's not always apparent at first. When you see something, you just, there it is. But that creation process, that birth process, is where there's a lot of effort and time and thinking goes into, which is maybe unseen by many. In the actual project itself and the development of the vehicles, due to the concepts we've got, it's presented many challenging areas where, working again hand in hand with my engineering counterparts, the chief technical officer, we've had to just really work with an appreciation for each other and make sure the teams work with that appreciation to be able to do something different. And so whilst I say it was a challenge, it's been a pleasure actually solving those challenges. Yeah.
Interesting. Rob, thank you very much for your time today. And I need you to give me a promise that very soon we have to have a look at the first model from Seyir, and I can't wait to be, of course, under the steering wheel sometimes during 2026. كانت هاي يا جماعة زي ما شفتوا نبذة سريعة عن شركة سيير السعودية. إن شاء الله في الأيام القادمة والشهور القادمة رح نغطي لكم أخبار الشركة أول بأول، نعطيكم العلوم، نعطيكم الأخبار تبعتهم أول بأول. وأنا شخصيا متحمس جدا لسنة 2026 نشوف أول سيارة وطنية بتطلع من دول مجلس التعاون الخليجي، بتطلع وبتنطلق من الرياض من المملكة العربية السعودية إن شاء الله للوطن العربي كامل. شكرا لكم، شكرا لمتابعتكم. نلقاكم إن شاء الله بحلقات ومقابلات قادمة لصناع القرار بعالم السيارات في منطقتنا. السلام عليكم.